Most guitarists don't have a speed problem, they have a control problem. If your playing falls apart when you increase tempo, one of these 5 mistakes is probably why. Hey, I'm Zach from Char Guitar. I help disciplined rock and metal guitarists build clean and controlled speed, not just fast noise. So let's jump in and fix this. So with mistake number 1, we're getting pretty counterintuitive right away, and that is practicing too fast. Because your hands feel like they can move pretty quickly, it doesn't mean you're necessarily doing it right. And what happens is this ends up feeling productive when really it's not. A lot of players don't have tension awareness when it comes to trying to build up their speed. And so speed without tension awareness will automatically bring you to plateauing and artificially plateauing because you'll hit your ceilings a lot quicker than you ordinarily would if you weren't building slowly from the ground up properly. You need to give yourself and your nervous system some clarity before you're cranking up the velocity and trying to shred as fast as you can right out the gate. So to fix this mistake, there's a few quick steps you need to do in order to simplify this process and prevent yourself from reaching plateaus prematurely. So what you need to do first is just drop your tempo back, okay? You might need to drop it back about 20 BPM or so in order to establish a true baseline, okay? From there, we've got the 4 clean reps rule. Once you're able to play through a lick, a pattern, a sequence, whatever it is, cleanly at least 4 times, then you're at the point where you're able to crank up the speed. If you're coming right out the gate with a cranked up speed, you're not necessarily ensuring that you're playing it right. So if you're trying to crank up the speed when you're already near maxing out, you can't really expect yourself to level up in a way that's productive where you're playing with speed and control and clarity. Once you've got your 4 clean reps built in under your belt at a proper, more realistic starting point, from there you could start cranking up the tempo 5 beats per minute at a time. Mistake number 2 is excessive tension in your picking hand or your picking arm for that matter. So your entire picking arm, your forearm, your arm, it really shouldn't be looking like it's lifting a 50-pound dumbbell. So this is because the tension you're forcing upon yourself, it's killing your endurance and it's getting in the way of your speed. So what you need to do is watch the pressure and the tension of your picking hand, really your forearm, and mostly your upper arm of your picking hand. To fix this, you can go through a drill where you're consciously relaxing in between bursts, okay? So if I were to break up the exercise I'm using in this whole episode here, and I were to just play chunks at a time and bursting when I do it, I want to focus on consciously relaxing during and between the bursts, okay? And in between the bursts that I'm playing, I want to give myself little check-ins and evaluate how much tension I may or may not be using during this time. So in between those clusters of notes that I'm just bursting through and firing through one chunk at a time, I'm checking in with myself and I'm evaluating how much tension I might be using or forcing upon myself while really trying to be mindful of my whole picking arm. Mistake number 3 is a lack of rhythmic awareness. So what happens here, really the core of this is where players end up rushing through the subdivisions and they don't end up internalizing the proper groupings of notes in a run, whether that's 16th notes, triplets, sextuplets, eighth notes, anything like that. If you're running into this problem, what you're going to want to do is practice one, likely a couple subdivisions at a time per session to really focus on your consistency. So in this case, with this specific example we're working with here, I might want to just, instead of playing the whole thing, I might just want to focus on like the first half or so. And then slowly over time, start incorporating the rest of the groupings or the remaining grouping if I want to clump it all together and connect the dots on that. What's really going to help you when plowing through this mistake is using accenting, okay? So you want to make sure that your subdivisions are proportional to the click, okay? So if you're dealing with eighth notes, you want to make sure every other note is landing on the click. If you're using 16th notes, the first note of every 4 notes is going to land right on the click, and so on and so forth. And each note that lands on the click, you're going to want to, at least in the slower stages, hit that note a little bit harder than the others. And this will really help you with maintaining your proper timing, which will ultimately help you shred when you're going at higher speeds. Mistake number 4 on this list is ignoring synchronization at slow speeds, okay? So that's when your hands start to fall apart. Either one hand will start going a little farther ahead of the other in terms of the speed, or it'll drag a little farther behind the other hand. The main thing you're going to want to keep in mind with this is that if you're playing as sloppy at slower speeds, it's only going to translate into sloppy playing at higher speeds, and you're going to end up fooling yourself into thinking that your true speed max potential is a lot higher than it truly is. Basically, if you're playing as dirty at 80 BPM and you're hoping to one day double that at the same sloppy, dirty technique you're using, it's not going to magically just clean up by the time you reach that 160 BPM goal. So really what you want to do here is just drill a specific exercise at a really low tempo. We're talking 60 BPM or even 80 BPM if you're feeling it. And what you want to do here is record yourself and determine if you're actually hearing clear notes, okay? So if you are, you're good to level up your speed and keep going. But if not, this is likely because your hands are not lining up with each other. So that's something you're going to be able to and want to focus more on after watching or listening to that recording of yourself. Mistake number 5, and this is perhaps the biggest mistake here, and that is not having a structured progression plan, okay? So really, if you're using an approach to practice that's just random, what's going to happen is that random approach is just going to create random results. What happens here is that most guitarists just try to go faster, just blindly, basically. There's no weekly target. There's no measurable, methodical approach to their speed building. They just, okay, I've got this exercise memorized. Now I'm just going to go as fast as I can with it. It's not that simple. So what you should be doing is just focus on selecting one pattern, okay? And let that be your pattern to focus on at least primarily throughout the whole week, 1 week at a time. And as you're doing this, you should track your tempo in beats per minute or BPM weekly, okay? And you should see a sort of linear progression of an increase of speed over time. And what you want to do is aim for an achievable speed increase by so many beats per minute per week, okay? And this is really an individualized part of this whole thing. This is where, your starting point and your rate of BPM increase is going to vary depending on where you're at in your guitar journey. So, if you want help with locking in a wildly effective high speed building routine without needing to spend countless hours a day doing so, I'm opening up a small room for serious intermediate guitarists. Details for that are below. Speed is not built by force, it's built by discipline. If you fix these 5 mistakes, your ceiling immediately gets higher because now you're building on structure instead of frustration. Most players stay stuck because they chase tempo. Disciplined players chase control, and control is what actually scales. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Zach with Char Guitar. Stick in, keep shredding, and God bless.